In 1912, a rare book dealer paid $250 for a medieval manuscript that still hasn't been decoded, and the leading theory about what it contains just fell apart. Wilfrid Voynich was a man who made decisions under pressure, constantly. As a rare manuscript dealer working in Rome in the early 1900s, he'd built his reputation on spotting value others missed. When a Jesuit college offered him a mysterious bound volume written in an unknown script with botanical illustrations, he calculated the risk. At $250, substantial money in 1912, he gambled that rarity alone would justify the cost. He was right about the rarity. He was wrong about understanding what he'd bought. The manuscript itself is 234 pages of vellum, written in the early 15th century, probably between 1404 and 1438. It contains roughly 170,000 characters arranged in an alphabet nobody recognizes. The script flows naturally, with consistent letter forms and spacing. It follows grammatical rules. This isn't gibberish. This is language. But in 5 centuries, not a single word has been reliably deciphered. The illustrations are what drew everyone's attention. Detailed botanical drawings fill the opening sections of plants that don't exist in any known taxonomy. Roots like twisted fingers, flowers with impossible geometries, leaves that seem to belong to 3 different species at once. Then come the astronomical charts, zodiac wheels, stars arranged in patterns that match no constellation. And finally, the most unsettling section, nude female figures, some bathing in pools, some with organs exposed, some connected by tubes to plants and stars. For decades, the accepted explanation was straightforward. This was a herbal, a medieval medical text written in cipher to protect trade secrets or alchemical knowledge. Scholars argued the author, likely a monk or physician, had deliberately obscured the language using a substitution cipher. If you could just crack the code, the theory went, you'd find conventional medieval medicine beneath the surface. Reasonable, defensible, almost certainly wrong. The first problem: no cipher has ever been cracked. In the 1920s and 1930s, cryptographers from military intelligence tried. They failed. In the 1960s and 70s, computer scientists ran frequency analysis on the text, the same method that broke German military codes in World War II. The Voynich script refused to yield. The letter frequencies were too uniform, too regular, too artificial. Then came the botanical problem. If this was a herbal, where were the real plants? Researchers compared the illustrations to every known medieval medicinal text: Dioscorides, Albertus Magnus, the works of Avicenna. The plants in the Voynich didn't match, not even close. The botanist Arthur Tucker examined the drawings in detail around 2003. His conclusion: roughly 38 of the 113 plant illustrations could be loosely matched to real species. The rest were either composite inventions or so stylized they were useless for medical identification. But here's where the herbal theory really breaks. Medieval herbals were functional. They were written to be used. Physicians needed to identify plants by sight, match symptoms to treatments, follow instructions. The Voynich is the opposite. It's opaque. It hides information rather than revealing it. An actual herbal written in cipher would still show recognizable plant structures. A physician couldn't practice medicine on guesswork. The Voynich doesn't work as a medical text at any level. So what was the author actually doing? The real explanation emerged slowly from researchers willing to abandon the cipher assumption. The Voynich isn't encoded language. It's constructed language, artificial language. The author invented an entire writing system, phonemes, grammar, syntax from scratch, not to hide knowledge, but to create it. The text reads like language because it is language, just not one that maps to any human tongue. This reframes everything. The author wasn't protecting secrets. They were exploring what language could be. A 15th century experiment in pure linguistic creativity. The illustrations weren't meant to document real plants. They were dream work, visual meditation. The astronomical sections weren't charts to navigate by, they were speculative cosmology. This manuscript is a work of imagination masquerading as a reference text. Who made this decision to create such an object? We don't know with certainty. The leading candidate is John Dee, the Elizabethan mathematician and occultist, but that timeline doesn't quite fit. More likely it was a wealthy patron, someone with time, resources, and intellectual ambition. Someone who could afford vellum, inks, and years of labor on a book that would never be published, never be sold, never serve any practical purpose. The cost to create it was enormous. Vellum alone was expensive. This manuscript used about 116 sheets, each requiring careful preparation. The inks, the binding, the years of careful composition. In modern money, we're talking tens of thousands of dollars just in materials and labor, all for a book designed to be incomprehensible, all for an audience of one, the creator themselves. What does that tell us about the stakes they faced? Medieval Europe was suffocating under orthodoxy. The church controlled what could be written, what could be known, what could be imagined. A monk who wanted to explore forbidden ideas, alchemy, heresy, speculative science faced real danger. Execution wasn't theoretical, but a book written in an unknown language. That was safe. It was invisible. It was rebellion with plausible deniability. The Voynich Manuscript survived because it was forgotten. It passed through libraries and collections with no one understanding it well enough to destroy it. Voynich himself sold it to Hans Krause, a New York rare book dealer, who eventually donated it to Yale University's Voynich Rare Book Library. It's still there, still unread, still generating theories. Modern linguists have accepted that the text won't yield to conventional decryption. It's not a code waiting to be cracked. It's a dead language, one that was never alive. One that was designed to be spoken only in the mind of its creator. We have the artifact. We'll never have the translation. And maybe that was always the point. The real cost of the Voynich isn't what was spent to create it. It's what we've lost by being unable to access it. 5 centuries of cryptographers, linguists, and amateur sleuths have poured thousands of hours into this single manuscript. If that effort had been directed elsewhere, what could have been recovered? What other mysteries could have been solved? The Voynich is beautiful precisely because it's unyielding. Subscribe for weekly deep dives into the artifacts that refuse to be understood, the mysteries that outlast every attempt to solve them.